Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe D'Alessandro with San Francisco Travel, and I am so thrilled to be here on this beautiful day in San Francisco outside and in this beautiful building inside. Welcome, everybody, to the grand reopening of Moscone Center. This project has taken the better part of 10 years to complete, from early conversations about where we would expand, to creating our own unique funding source to pay for the project, to the years of hard work and incredible engineering to where we're sitting today. Today, to really officially reopen this building that has been such an important part of the pulse and the heartbeat of this city for so many years. Our goal was to keep this venue competitive and ensure that the meeting space would lead its way into the future. The Moscone Center now features 504,000 square feet of contiguous meeting space, almost doubling its former dimensions. It includes a new column-free 50,000 square foot ballroom, perfect for major keynotes and receptions. The facility will be LEED Platinum certified, making it the only convention center in the nation to achieve such levels of environmental sustainability. 20% of its power, yes, I think that deserves a round of applause. 20% of its power will come from solar energy, and the building's drainage system will be able to correct and recycle over 15 million gallons of water annually. The pedestrian bridge right in front of us or behind you, joining Moscone's north and south over Howard Street, will become the site of one of the city's iconic light art installations. In addition, the center's publicly accessible spaces will be filled with art, with nature, and with breathtaking views of the San Francisco skyline. This new building and the new design not only opens the building from the inside, but it opens it from the outside to be a better neighbor in this district. This was a major undertaking, and we have great honor to be joined by several of our key project team members and city officials today. I'll ask you to hold your applause till I finish introducing all of them. So on my far right, Public Works Director Mohammed Nehru, who oversaw the entire city project management and construction teams throughout the expansion. Lead architect at Skidmore, Owens & Merrill, Craig Hartman, who led a dynamic team of architects and design consultants in creating the look of the revitalized center. Director of Convention Facilities for the City and County of San Francisco, John Noguchi, who oversees everything that goes on in this building on behalf of the city. Senior Director of the Moscone Expansion Project for the San Francisco Travel, Lynn Farzaroli, who has been the linchpin to help this entire network of collaborations together during this process. SFTID MC Board Chair Rick Swig, who has been involved in the expansion project before there even was a project on the horizon. He's a tireless advocate for tourism in San Francisco and the Moscone Center as well. Mayor London Breed, who we'll be introducing in just a second. To my left, City Administrator Naomi Kelly, who started her job just as this expansion was getting away. It was quite a way to begin, and she has been with us every single step of the way. Area GM for Marriott International, John Kimball, here today to represent the city's hotel community, who has always understood the importance of this facility, not only to the visitors and to the hotels, but to the city itself and to our people. So Peter Gomez, San Francisco Travel Board Chair, whose entire career has been in San Francisco's hospitality industry. He knows well, as all do all of us, the importance of this industry in San Francisco. Senior Manager at the Department of Public Works, Brooke Maratu, who is our leader in technical design, construction, and contracts for the past 7 years. Brooke has been at this building, I think, every day for this construction in these past 7 years. President and CEO of WebCore Builders, Jess Peterson, who assembled a talented team, but not only finished the expansion on time and on budget, but also worked to make sure that the building could still be used during construction, which was a remarkable feat. This building did not close down when the demolition was taking place and when construction happened, but it remained open and contiguously operated during that time. Senior Director of Citywide Sales and Convention Sales Operations for San Francisco Travel, Leonie Patrick, who did a spectacular job working with our committed convention clients for the past 4 years, guaranteeing that their meetings could continue in San Francisco. And Moscone Interim General Manager Bob Sauter, who has made sure that this facility remained operational while all of these fantastic improvements were being made. Let's give them all a round of applause. We are also very happy to be joined by many other department heads and public servants for the City and County of San Francisco, as well as leaders of San Francisco's hospitality industry and hotel community who helped generate the funding to make this event possible and to make this building possible. Each one of these people had a key role in this project and its success, and so we all really have to show them a debt of appreciation. Let's also thank the many sponsors, partners, and friends of the San Francisco Travel Association, the Moscone Center, and the City and County of San Francisco. Without their support, today's event would not be possible. Our special thanks to Creative Technology, Cresco Equipment Rentals, Curtin Convention Services, Freeman, Guest Services of America, Hartman Studios, Impact Lighting, Jazz Mafia, Local 16, Sound on Stage, and the Children's Creativity Museum. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce the Mayor of San Francisco, who has dedicated her life to the city that she loves, who is committed to make this city not only more fantastic than it already is, one of the most beautiful, most incredible cities to visit in the world, but also to live in, and she's committed to make it even better than it is today. It's my pleasure to introduce Mayor London Breed.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. I know this project has been a long time coming, and some of you who were here in 1981 probably remember when this whole area was nothing but parking lots. I mean, this wasn't necessarily an area that so many of us ever spent time in, and to see it grow into what I think is one of the best convention centers anywhere is absolutely amazing. This expansion is something that is overdue. It is going to help generate the kind of tourism that San Francisco is so very proud of. And we know that there are challenges that exist in our city. We know that we have to address the issues around homelessness and housing and things that impact our tourism industry. And I am committed to making those investments so that not just the people who visit our city have a wonderful experience, but also the people who live here, who have a great experience as well. This convention center will host and bring visitors from around the world who are going to not only visit here, but also work here. And as a result, will generate millions of dollars in revenue here at this convention centers and for our hotels and our small businesses and the surrounding community. It was critical to ensure that Moscone Center remained one of the top meeting destinations in the world, and today we are proud to unveil this world-class facility in a world-class city. It includes new exhibition space, meeting rooms, an incredible ballroom, and other support areas. It also includes thousands of new jobs. It brings in streetscape improvements and family-friendly public spaces for visitors and residents to enjoy alike. We have beautiful art installations as well, including a new sculpture on Howard Street by artist Christine Corday, who is here celebrating with us as well. Moscone Center will remain one of the most sustainable convention centers in the country with the largest rooftop solar panel array in San Francisco and other key sustainability features. And thanks to the incredible project team at San Francisco Department of Public Works, which led the implementation of this expansion, we were able to do this project without interrupting the conventions that we already had scheduled. And that's because we know and understand how important tourism is to San Francisco. We know that we are an international destination where people come from all over to visit our amazing restaurants, our businesses, our cultural activities, and I'm committed to ensuring that the people from other cities and states and countries have a great experience. I'm excited because this is finally done, and traffic, yes, is challenging and congestion in San Francisco, but ultimately, there might still be traffic and congestion in this area, but that's because we're going to be bringing more people to this area who are going to be enjoying this convention space. I want to really recognize and thank some amazing people who contributed to helping to make this possible. One of them is Supervisor Jane Kim, who represents this district and is joining us here today, as well as Supervisor Raphael Mandelman. Thank you both for your service and your commitment to supporting and moving forward these incredible projects. I especially want to thank the Department of Public Works, Mohammed Nuru, and the Public Utilities Commission, Harlan Kelly from PUC. I remember many years ago when I served as an intern under former Mayor Willie Brown, and how many staff meetings we attended where Mayor Brown would constantly yell at Harlan in particular, who I'm not sure if he's here today, but his wife Naomi is here so she can represent him. But Naomi, you were in those meetings because I was your intern. And he would yell about, when am I going to get my sidewalks? When is this going to be done? And I find myself doing the same thing to a lot of the department heads. But I just want you all to know how much I appreciate the work that you've done here in order to make this facility what it needs to be for all of us, and also making sure it's one of the most environmentally friendly facilities anywhere. I want to thank John Namaguchi, the city's director, convention facility, and all the employees and people and members of Local 2 who will continue to work in this facility, and the team of SF Travel. Thank you to Joe D'Alessandro, and so many people who contribute to the vibrancy of our great city. And also, I just want to finally thank the residents and the businesses in this neighborhood. The people who basically suffered through the changes and all of the challenges that exist here. And I also like to thank the San Francisco Police Department for keeping the community and residents safe all over our city. Now, the namesake of this facility, named after former Mayor George Moscone, was committed to our core values of inclusion, bringing people together, and pushing for transformative projects like here at Moscone Center. So today, not only do we rededicate this facility in his honor, we also honor another true champion of San Francisco values, someone who was an incredible mayor who pushed for the expansion of this project, but also more importantly, pushed for the funding to get it done. It was both city funding and private dollars that made it possible. And because of the leadership of our late Mayor Ed Lee, it was possible. Here joining us today, Anita Lee, his wife. Thank you so much, Anita, for being here with us today. And as a result of his hard work, here we are, an incredible facility. And so today we will be dedicating this south lobby in honor of Mayor Edwin M. Lee. So thank you all so much. WebCorps and all of the folks who worked on this project. It really does take a village. That's why you see so many people on the stage, but we also know that so many of the folks who contributed to making this place possible are here, and the people who are committed to making sure that this place thrives will continue to be actively engaged in making this an incredible, welcoming place for so many people who will use this convention center and enjoy San Francisco for years to come. And with that, I'd like to introduce a person who made this project possible. The expansion work took certificate of participation bonds and other kinds of creative financial tools to get it done. And she was there every step of the way, managing the different departments, pushing for the different financing, and getting creative about solutions in order to deliver this project for each and every one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, our city administrator, Naomi Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor Breed, for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be standing here today after 7+ years in the making. Before I say more, I want to recognize the late Mayor George Moscone, who had the vision that the convention center should be here at 3rd and Howard Street. And I'm incredibly grateful to be here today as we honor the late Mayor Ed Lee, who was a true champion of the Moscone Expansion Project. This project is really a win-win for our city. Yes, it boosts tourism, but it also generated thousands of local jobs. Over its 4 phases, the expansion was responsible for about 3,400 temporary jobs and over 900 permanent jobs. When Moscone was built, it was a cutting-edge facility, but over time, it became clear that we needed to keep up with our competition. Prior to the expansion, Moscone had significantly less exhibit space than the country's top 12 convention centers, and we were at risk at losing many of our big conventions to other cities. That would have meant lost jobs and would have meant lost revenues from visitors spending in our city. We are back in a very competitive position and now offer a lot of things that other convention centers lack. We have an iconic building design, public open spaces, a nearby Yerba Buena Gardens, a dedicated visitor information center, and incredible light-filled pre-function halls. When planning for the expansion, one thing we wanted to do is make sure that we incorporated the input and partnership of this community. When George Moscone had envisioned Moscone here, as Mayor Breed said, in 1981, it was unimproved parking lots and not much of a community. This location is in the heart of the city where people live, work, and visit, which means that the livability and the vibrancy of this community is a top priority. Supervisor Jenkins made sure of that. We had community meetings, one-on-ones, and actively listened to people's concerns and ideas. Now there's 8,000 more square feet of new public open space, a redesigned pedestrian bridge, and a beautiful paseo that allows families and residents to better access the playgrounds and the open space. We really wanted this convention center to be woven into the surrounding neighborhood to make it an overall better environment for visitors and residents. I want to thank you all for coming here today and celebrating this milestone with the city. Thank you, Mayor Breed, for overseeing the final finishes for this successful project. I also want to give a big thank you to Public Works Director Mohammed Nuru. You were, yeah. And his team, who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to this project, City Architect Edgar Lopez, as well as Project Manager Extraordinaire Brooke Mabratu, and the rest of the Public Works staff. I must also give a special thank you to Deputy City Administrator Ken Bukowski. You hear Joe talk about this project being on time and on budget. It was Ken's work, working with Joe and Brooke and Edgar and the hotel industry to make sure that this project delivered it on budget. I also want to give a thank you to all the other San Francisco departments who worked collaboratively to bring this center here today. I saw some other elected officials and department heads who are out in the audience. I want to recognize our public defender, Jeff Adachi, and our fire chief, Joanne Hayes-White. Thanks, SF Travel and Joe D'Alessandro and your team, to the architects Skidmore, Owing, and Merrill, and building contractors Webcor, for all your hard work. This was not a project with a flexible deadline. This was a project with a drop-dead deadline. And this time next week, the Moscone Center will welcome thousands of people moving in for the first convention. Congratulations to everyone. Now I'd like to invite Joe D'Alessandro back to the microphone.
Thank you, Naomi, and thanks again to the City and County of San Francisco for making this happen. This is a city's building. The other thanks I want to really bring to the attention is to the hotel community. because they came up with 2/3 of the funding to make this project happen. And without the collaboration with the hotel community and the city, this incredible building, this economic driver for the city and this region would not be here today. So on behalf of the hotel community, I would like to ask John Kimball to come up and say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I am just beaming today, and I see many members of the hospitality industry beaming as well in the audience. And I'm really here to represent the entire San Francisco hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants, attractions, the entire industry. And we are so thrilled to be at this finishing line after the many years of planning and construction of this refreshed and renewed Moscone Center. We have an amazing new facility to partner with as we bring world-class conferences and conventions to our city. San Francisco is an amazing convention city, we know that, and the expanded Moscone Convention Center will keep us world-class to continue to host these large conferences and conventions into the future. I, too, have to acknowledge a number of folks here today, and I really want to actually start by thanking and a little special acknowledgement to the meeting planners that are here today from Semicon, UBM, game developers, Oracle, Salesforce, some of our largest conferences and conventions, and many others. We want to thank them for working with us throughout these last years of construction. We know it has not been easy, and we appreciate it. The project has been a true team effort on so many fronts. It is a public-private partnership between Moscone Expansion District, formed by the hotel community and the City and County of San Francisco. It doesn't stop there as we work together through the many years of design by Skidmore, Owning, and Merrill, and precise construction led by Webcorp Builders, shown off today as we sit in this amazing lobby. And the construction schedule was complicated as we continued to keep Moscone up and running the majority of the time. It was vital to the city, to our hotels, to the industry, not to lose the economic impact that Moscone Center generates. So I thank you to everyone who worked so hard to ensure the clients had successful shows, construction continued to be on time, and the city stayed busy. And now the exciting work really begins. We are committed to working closely with Moscone Center, with San Francisco Travel, with everyone to continue to attract the very best events to our city. We know that there are no better teams, hospitality industry, and convention center in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. You know, we've heard a lot about the building and it's on time, on budget. Did I say that? Didn't I say that already? On time, on budget? So what we've done is prepared a short documentary to show you about the development of this building, the construction by Irving Street Films and our own Dan Goldies. So if I can turn your attention to the screens just for a second, we'd like to run this video.
Moscone plays an important role in attracting conventions.
Meetings and conventions account for over $700 million of direct spending.
When a guest comes and stays in a hotel in San Francisco, 65% of all the spending is outside of that hotel.
For every convention that comes to town, they spend money in our hotels, they spend money in our restaurants.
We needed to retain clients, and we needed to expand to attract others.
We needed to be able to compete with some of the other cities on a different level, and the expansion of Moscone is going to give us a different edge and a different opportunity.
We had a team that went out and surveyed and met with all of our customers, and additional exhibition space was at the top of every list. And not just random exhibition space, but contiguous exhibition space.
Moscone North and South offered 470,000 square feet of space between the two halls.
With this expansion, not only can we take the conventions that we used to have, but now we can take conventions that maybe didn't fit before.
For us, having all the flexibility with the air walls and be able to create spaces and meeting spaces is really important to us.
Many convention centers are just walls and you can't see where you are. It was important for us to have light, to have balconies that people can access and see where they are, feel San Francisco while they're in the building.
The Moscone expansion was actually a very challenging project. It was half new build, half renovation, and we were doing all of this within an occupied space.
One of the most important programmatic functional issues with the Moscone Center expansion is to find a way to make the exhibition center, which was built originally as two separate spaces, one on the north side of Howard Street and one on the south side of Howard Street, to find a way to connect these as one contiguous space. And so this involved finding ways to excavate under Howard Street, keeping that street operational while all that construction happened.
We couldn't just simply close the streets and build a building. The traffic needed to flow day to day. We needed to be respectful of the businesses and not be creating too much of an impact for them.
You're in the center of an island surrounded by an ocean of people, massive amounts of vehicles and cars and construction around the project. 400 people on site daily, 40 to 50 subcontractors coming in and out of the building, 7,000 pages of drawings to refer to. There's a lot of moving parts.
A big part of the success in managing the construction project was the co-location of the project management team.
What that means is the entire team was located in a single building where they could have meetings, where they could talk to each other, and the goal was to break the barriers of being separated in multiple locations.
We know of no other project like this in the world, an expansion of a major convention center that was done while the building was being used. Typically, they shut the building down for a period of 2 or 3 years. Our concern was, what would the impact on San Francisco's economy be? So we took a much more difficult road, and we decided, let's keep the building open.
The Moscone Expansion Project is also targeting LEED Platinum certification as part of our sustainability goals.
The environmental features of the building are a key component of the design.
Today, we are starting construction on the city's newest and largest array of rooftop solar panels right here in Moscone Center.
We literally are harvesting water from moisture in the air, the fog. We're also combining that then with rainwater that we're collecting in the wintertime. And finally, we are harvesting water below the building.
We actually pump out about 15 million gallons of water a year, and in the past that's been pumped directly into the sewer to be treated. We've added a water treatment plant, and we're pumping and capturing that water, treating that water here on site, and putting it back in the gardens, putting it in our toilets, putting it in our street cleaners.
Moscone Center has been a part of the neighborhood for many, many years since we opened in 1981. Since that time, and through every construction project and expansion that we've been through, we've always engaged the neighbors.
The community went into the process with various concerns about size and scale of the convention center, construction timeline, construction process, noise.
We had over 24 community meetings with community leaders, one-on-one meetings. And the most important thing is that we listened to their feedback.
They brought us in early, so we had a chance to inform things. It wasn't as if we were just being told what was going to happen. It was actually a dialogue.
The differences that the community proposed to us that we ended up incorporating into the design were really win-wins for both of us. Terraces were not part of our original design, but the community came out and really wanted the architects to come up with a different way to sort of soften the facade of the building. And the terraces were a natural way to do it.
The Tot Lot that recently opened is a place for kids probably 5 years of age and younger. And that's been an important addition to the neighborhood because we've seen over the last several years a growing number of families with very young children.
We also have the replacement of the pedestrian bridge over Howard Street, fully landscaped with seating and public art.
We have collaborated with the San Francisco Arts Commission, and we have 4 installations in and around Moscone Center.
The project was $550 million plus. The financing strategy was unique to some extent. We knew the city had to contribute to a portion of it. We had to agree on what that contribution was, but we also knew the hotel community had to be a partner.
The discussion about the expansion was pretty unanimous in that we knew we needed to do it. So the hotels came together and we voted on a funding mechanism which would put an assessment on the room revenue.
That assessment is funding about 2/3 of the project. The other third of the project will be funded by the City and County of San Francisco.
We can't move business forward unless we work together. And this is a great example of that. This is a great example of how public and private can come together.
This project has had a lot of collaboration. It's had a long history of neighbors being involved, and the city's leadership and SF Travel and all the partners really trying to do something good for the city, but also make sure that everyone feels good about how it impacts their neighborhoods and how they're part of such a great project.
This has been a 7-year project, and during that time, all of our approvals were unanimous at the city from the beginning up until now.
The Moscone expansion had a significant impact in creating jobs in San Francisco. Over 3,500 temporary construction jobs and over 900 permanent jobs.
We at the city have a requirement, what we refer to as local business enterprise. We had set a goal of 15% of participation, and in doing so, over $60 million has been allocated to local firms from both the design and mainly the construction side.
We had a poster of the globe on our field office wall, and we literally had a pin on every single continent from all the hands that have touched this project, from all the tradespeople. And it's very much San Francisco.
We're seeing the rewards from this project straight away. We can see what the convention calendar looks like, and 2019 will be one of the best convention years that the city has ever enjoyed.
What is very exciting about this project is that it's going to be serving generations to come.
And to make it part of the welcome mat for those who are visiting the city has been just an extraordinary privilege.
We deliver a significant building, an iconic structure that sits in the middle of the city like a jewel.
It truly has been an amazing partnership with the city, the hotel and hospitality community, the neighborhood, and our customers, who this building is really dedicated for, to make this all come together. So now we are going to cut the ribbon and officially dedicate this building. We have spaces here after we cut the ribbon that we want to make sure that you get around to see some of the meeting spaces, the ballroom spaces. The building on both sides will be open. Our friends at the Yerba Buena Community Benefit District have some great outdoor entertainment planned, and the Golden State Warriors and the San Francisco Giants will be displaying their San Francisco pride by having all 6 of their championship trophies on display in the north lobby, so you can take your selfies with them. So we want to thank the Giants and the Warriors, and we are going to officially open and dedicate this building. The mayor has a giant pair of scissors. You know you're not supposed to run with those, right? So we're just going to get this in place and cut the ribbon.